Okay, so anyway, I'm finished with that, I think. So one more thing in closing. Here's what I would do about the whole situation. I would immediately and totally and completely disband SWAT. I would disband BATF, B-A-T-F, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. I'd disband the IRS, and I'd disband all of these agencies that are full of sadistic bullies that just have their jobs because all they want is to have control over people's lives and exercise power. So we'd be better off if all these agencies were just totally and completely disbanded and immediately done with. So anyway, that's the end of that. Now what I want to get into now, I'm going to go fairly deep into common shooting scenarios that you might run into and what some of the laws are and what might happen. And then after that, I'm going to finish this up by just talking about as many miscellaneous things as I can think that I might want to cover here. Okay, now the shooting scenarios. Now, when you have concealed carry and you carry a weapon and there's a possibility you might have to utilize it, you've got to be aware of what some of the possibilities are. You just aren't issued a license to kill like 007, you know. It just doesn't work that way. Okay, I'm going to give you two totally extreme and totally absurd examples, but these are only for illustration purposes. Just about anything and everything else will fall totally in between these areas, and they're not black or white or anything else. There are definitely a lot of shades of gray, but these are the two extreme scenarios that you might have. Okay, let's take a scenario. This happens, let's say this happens back in Heartland, Missouri, where you can get concealed carry fairly easy, and it's a relatively small town. And let's say you're an 80-year-old lady there, and you get around with the use of a walker, you know, and you've been able to take concealed carry, and you bought a Glock 21, and you keep that in a little pouch, you know, that hangs from your walker, you know, and that's what you carry around with you, because you're just that type person for some reason. So that's one person in this story. Now let's say the other guy, let's say you're Leroy up in the inner city, and you decide you want to take a vacation from all the gang banging and the drugs and the prostitution and the gang fights and the shootings and stuff like that. And you decide to go to Heartland for a week or so, you know, and just enjoy the countryside and everything. So you get there and decide, hey, you know, this ain't a bad place to be. Maybe I can make a little extra money here while I'm here. And you're about 6'4" and weigh 300 pounds, so you don't have any trouble intimidating people to begin with. So one day you're walking down the street and you see this little old lady pushing her walker, and she's 80 years old, so you say, oh man, this is ripe for the picking. You go up to this lady and you pull out your knife and you say, hey bitch, give me all your goddamn money and be quick about it. So surprise, surprise, this little 80-year-old lady pulls her Glock 21 out of her carry bag and puts two through the thoracic cavity and one to the oculocranial cavity, just like she was taught to do in the two-day handgun. So this happens, you're dead before you hit the ground. And so Sheriff Bub was having lunch at the diner across the street, and he's kind of unhappy because his lunch has been interrupted by the sounds of gunfire. So he ambles over there and says, good Lord, Molly, what the hell happened here? And she says, well, he says, this gentleman threatened my life with a knife, and I had no choice but to defend myself. I certainly didn't mean to kill him. So the sheriff says, well, looks like everything's under control here. And by the way, nice shooting. Where do you learn to shoot? Oh, I learned to shoot in this course. And the sheriff says, yeah, mind if I ask what you use? And he says, oh, I use this here. And he says, oh, that's nice. I ought to get one of these. So this continues for a little bit. So then the Sheriff Bubba asks her if she needs a ride home. No, I'm just fine. I'll continue with what I was doing. So that's what happens there. And She's on a first name basis with the sheriff, obviously, and her son is the prosecuting attorney. So that's what happens here, and then the sheriff says, well, I'll call the coroner to remove the body here, and let's go on about our business. So, okay, that's scenario one. Now, do you think anything is going to happen to this lady? Absolutely not. There's, you know, it just happened. It was a righteous shoot. Nothing is going to be done about it. So, now I'll give you another one here. Let's say you're a white guy and you teach martial arts at some place close to inner city Detroit. Let's say you're 6'4" and you weigh 300 pounds and you've got several black belts and all kinds of different martial arts, and you know all about weapons and stuff. And in addition to this, you're very proficient at shooting. And let's say you don't have a Glock 21 that costs $600 right off the shelf. Let's say you've got one of these Les Bauer Customs that you spend about $2,500 on, and you burn up a couple of thousand rounds a month, you know, and you're very, very proficient with your handgun. And let's say you're walking down the street one day, and this 14-year-old black kid steps out of the alleyway, and he's got a knife, and he's about 5'8" and weighs 130 pounds, and he says, hey man, he says, I want your money and I want it now. So let's say you turn around and let's say you pull out this beautiful Les Bauer Custom, and you put two through the thoracic cavity and one to the oculocranial cavity, and that's the end of that. Now, let's say the police in that area are predominantly minority. Let's say the district attorney may be a minority. Let's say his office has a large percentage of minorities working there. The mayor of Detroit is black. You're very proficient in martial arts. You do all these disarms in your school and stuff like that, so you know how to disarm people with knives and stuff, theoretically. Now, do you think you're going to have a problem? Yes, you are. There's a good chance you're going to be prosecuted. There's a good chance you're going to go to jail. It just looks real bad, you know, and this is not the thing you want to do. So that's another possible scenario at the other extreme end of the spectrum. In actuality, everything else will most likely fall in between that, and it'll be shades of gray. It won't be black or white like that. Here's one I know about that actually did happen. Now, I heard the 9/11 recording of this, and it lasted for about 20 minutes, and it happened in Oklahoma. And these people involved were white, because Oklahoma, the whole state, is a bastion of white supremacy. I don't think there's any blacks in the state at all. So this piece of white trash was trying to break into this lady's house and assault her. And this lady, you know, she might have been 70 years old or so. She had a shotgun to defend herself. Now, she wasn't highly trained or anything like that, and probably never shot the thing, but she called 911 and she says, oh God, God, come, please help me, he's trying to break in. I don't want to kill him, but I will if I have to. You know, she's standing there with her shotgun pleading with 911 to hurry up and get there because she don't want to kill this guy, you know. And this guy finally breaks in and she shoots, and she gets lucky. She got very, very lucky and hit the guy and actually killed him. And she's going on and on, oh Heavenly Father, please forgive me, oh please God, I didn't mean to kill him. You know, she's really totally, completely upset about this. And so she got lucky in one respect, because it was just a small town area. The local law enforcement knew everybody. The 9/11 cop who eventually got there didn't kill her dog because he knew the dog. And you know, more than likely nothing is going to happen to this lady. She's going to feel bad about it, but she doesn't need to. This guy was no loss whatsoever. So I'm 9:40 into this, so I'm going to cut this.